Okay, we seem to be ready to begin. So thanks again for joining us. As I said, we will see now the crypto innovation stage, 6 different projects. All of them are very unique in the way they contribute to the crypto community. It will be up to you to decide who's the best or which contribution is most valuable. So without further ado, Gerrit from Cotrader. You will have 5 minutes. I will announce when you have one left.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Gerrit. I'm the CEO of Cotrader. And Cotrader is the world's first blockchain-powered investment funds marketplace. It basically lets anyone create a smart fund by just clicking one button, a crypto fund, and anyone can join them. It's non-custodial, so when an investor sends assets to the manager doesn't hold it. A smart contract called a smart fund holds it, and then the investor can withdraw his funds at any time. And the investor can see exactly what the ROI was in the past. Maybe it was, whatever it was. And what's nice for the person, the manager, is that he can charge, for example, let's say only performance fee, but he can choose maybe he's worth 10%, but only performance fee above Ethereum, let's say. And if he gets 2x for people, and he brings in 1,000 times his money because he's a big famous influencer, then it would be 10% of the 2x, so it'd be 1,000 times 10% times 2x is 200. Instead of 2x, he would get 200x. So it's very good for influencers, and it's very good for the people that are really performing well, and they're disincentivized to cheat, and actually they can't because they're using Kyber, decentralized exchanges, and there's no way for them to really have some kind of bad bet. So let me go through a little bit of the, so what Cotrader basically tries to solve, as you understood, is that investing in cryptos especially is hard. Investors want good ROI and good projects for good. And a lot of good projects need funding, and sometimes they get drowned out. But good investors, it's hard, even without going through 24/7 spending on the market, they can see what those are. Is there a clock, by the way, to see exactly what the time is left? No? Okay. So the blockchain solution is smart funds. How much?
3 minutes and a half.
Okay. So that's smart funds. It brings transparency, proof of ROI, as I said. The investor controls his assets. He can always withdraw. And this democratizes the $85 trillion investment funds industry. And as we know that we heard Yoni Assia speak from eToro, for example, that tokenization is coming, and the biggest transfer of wealth, perhaps more from the IPOs to the ICOs, tokenization. Much better. Could you hear me before at all? Okay, great. So fund managers can multiply their ROIs, as I said. Influencers have an incentive to share. And these Cotrader smart funds are live. We're actually in the middle of a token sale now, even in crypto winter, but we continue to build, and we're already live on mainnet.cotrader.com. We already have dozens of fund managers, and more and more coming, and thousands of people come and see what they're investing in. We have 70,000 people in our Telegram, so a big community is interested. This is what the platform looks like. Some of it, again, you can one click to open up your fund. Anyone can join it. It's permissionless. It's non-custodial, and it uses decentralized exchanges, now Kyber, soon Bancor, soon 0x, and also we can connect to centralized exchanges through a smart escrow, which I'll explain in a bit. So that's smart funds. Now, some people can't use smart funds, for regulation issues. Maybe Americans can't create their own smart funds, but they can be in competitions, and we actually launched another thing, contest.cotrader.com, where you can find the best investors because they compete in competitions and they earn tokens when they win. And lastly, we're building, if you've heard of refundable ICOs, we're building a platform to launch RICOs, refundable ICOs. It will be safe for investors, and that's coming next month. And so that's RICOs, refundable ICOs, and they will help with new projects that are like micro ICOs that want to raise just a little bit of funds. It's safer for retail because they can get a refund. And the refund works like this: it's similar to DICO, where in DICO a certain amount of your funds goes to the project every month, maybe 5%. And you could get a personal refund. If you're not happy, just take a refund. That does two good things. It incentivizes ICOs to not overprice, and if they do, there's arbitrage.
And we have 1 minute.
And it protects the investors. So because that was a big problem in ICOs, that so many people got screwed basically. But still, the concept is very good to make it borderless, and any project can open anywhere in the world. So just to go real through, some of our competitors, in a sense, Economy and Melonport, and we launched before Melonport, and even Kickstarter, because it's this launching of ICOs. This is the team. Roadmap I've talked about, contest launched, ICOs, and Smart Escrow. And the tokenomics is basically with buyback, staking, seamless access to the contract, voting. Tokenomics, our whole sale is just 1 million hard cap. We've already raised actually more than 1 million, but in January, instead of selling, we kept building though. So now there's just 3,000 Ether left for the sale, Cotrader.com. And that's it. So thank you very much, and vote please.
Thank you. Do we have questions from the crowd for this project? Okay, you're good. You're very clear. Okay, thank you very much. And we now hear Linda from Globcoin. Thank you.
Right, good afternoon, everyone. I am Linda Leaney. I am the CFO at Globcoin. Today, I was asked to talk about innovation and why our product is the most innovative out there in the crypto sphere. So that's what we're going to do. I would like to introduce you to our product, GLX. Right, so starting off with what is our vision? Our vision is to transform payments using blockchain with a crypto stablecoin. Also to provide the best launchpad from fiat to crypto. So for people currently in the fiat world who need a stepping stone into cryptos, we think this could be the answer. But more than that, we are creating the world currency. Are we ready to see it? Oh, sorry, before that, crypto roadblocks, to mass adoption. I think we can all agree on these. High volatility, the fact that it's not easy to use. You can't actually go out and book a hotel room that easily using your cryptos at the moment. And no other stablecoin is a true global currency. Right, now here we go. Right, this is it. For everyone in the room, and that's most of us who are either FX or ex-FX people, this is what we like to see. A nice pie chart of as many currencies of the world as possible. What we've got here, as you can see, is a currency basket. It's 15 of the main currencies of the world and 5% gold. The way that this currency basket is worked out is very simple. It's the GDP of the 15 biggest economies overlaid with the PPP and then slightly overweighted for emerging markets because we think that is the way forward. So what we've got here is a very simple currency basket. Did we make this yesterday? No. We made this in 2012, or more specifically, my CEO, Elie Dortfort, who at the time was at Overlay Asset Management, made and ran this index. It was also used then when he sold the company to BNP Paribas Asset Management. So we've got a track record. Have we actually used it? Yes. It was used by ultra-high net worth individuals, asset managers, supranationals, big institutions to manage their own currency risk. So what are we doing with this? Why do we want to digitalize it? Because if we digitalize it, we can bring it to the man in the street and make the world coin his coin too. It's a very simple idea, quite frankly. I think everyone's fairly clear on what the benefits are of stablecoin, volatility reduction. Just to remind everyone, this is the volatility for Bitcoin over a certain period of time. And as you can see, we've compared it with the GLX, that's the currency basket. So you are minimizing your volatility, and anything in cryptos that dampens volatility is a good thing. It is asset-backed because you have those 15 currencies and gold behind it. You know what it represents. So you can stay in the crypto sphere, but in a safe haven. It's liquid because we're all FX traders or FX fund managers. And quite frankly, we quite like trading the 15 currencies and gold. Right, so more importantly, why is it innovative? This is the key thing this afternoon. It's the only truly global stablecoin. It's not just backed by dollars, it's not just backed by euros, it's not backed by diamonds. It's really reflecting the world economy as it is today and as it will be tomorrow. It's also a payment method. That one's really important for peer-to-peer
1 minute.
business to crypto payments. We want to be the new PayPal. We want to actually make this something that you can use to pay, and that's what we're currently doing with our partners and clients. You'll be seeing that logo everywhere, slowly but surely. Right, so it's the crypto for everyone to use. If you're a crypto investor, you use it as a safe haven. If you're a fiat investor, you can move into cryptos easily. So, in a nutshell, we are harnessing the best of traditional currency innovation to the new digital world for everyone to use, not just the few, not just institutions. This is a product for retail investors and institutions. My mum, your mum, and whoever else wants to use it. We have innovated, we are disrupting, so the next thing is just to use GLX.
Okay, thank you very much for a very well delivered session. Any question? Do we have a question from the crowd? Yes, please, one question.
Hi.
You have there a mic?
Hi.
You go first.
Sure. So how do you make money through doing this?
Okay, there is a small fee basically, as with a lot of stable coins. There will be a small fee to actually buy it. However, those who already hold our utility token then have a discount or pay no fee. So we've already ICO'd, we did that a while ago. So we have a community of people who hold our utility token. This stablecoin, the GLX, is launching very, very shortly. We can also make money out of, obviously, the basket itself. It's 15 currencies and gold. We're overweighting the emerging markets. As you can imagine then, we're making interest rates on certain of those currencies. We're not passing that interest rate on, so that is about 3.5% to 4% net that we're making.
Thank you very much. We had here another hand. We can have like really 30 seconds, even less. Ooh, we have several of them. That's become interesting.
You said that the interface, anyone can buy it. Your grandma can buy it. What sort of software have you got that enables that?
Oh, sorry, it's an Ethereum token.
No, but I mean, like, if I said to my gran, there's an Ethereum token you can buy, she'd go, what does that mean?
Sure.
So what are you doing to, enable that?
Yeah, we are going to be, you'll be able to buy the GLX on exchanges. You'll also be able to buy it from us directly on our platform. But eventually, the main aim to start with is that people can actually use it as a payment token, and there will be a link, right? Say you're a shop. Okay, you've agreed that Globcoin is going to be one of your, GLX is going to be one of your payment methods. So you've got Amex, Visa, PayPal, and GLC. People will click the GLX button, and that will link into our payment portal and make it easy. We want this to be as easy as using PayPal.
Is that
and we're really concentrating on the UX here.
Is that already in place?
Sorry?
Is that already in place? Or?
Yes, that's in place. We just haven't made it public yet.
So we have a lot of questions. That's a good thing, but we'll take one more and we'll proceed. Linda will be here all through the evening, I hope. Now you must. Okay, yes, please. Where is the mic?
What will you do with the 3% per annum that you earn on holding those currencies?
Sure. That will go into our funds, obviously, because what we need to do is every time we launch, we actually sell a GLX, obviously we are then buying the 15 fiat currencies and the gold behind it. That will go towards basically paying for our banking costs, for example, because there are costs that we are going to incur just for holding those currencies at bank accounts, for example. So there is a cost to us, and that is the way that we will fund our cost and also make a small profit.
Okay,
if we made
dividends.
a dividend, then we would go into being a security token, which is not something that we want to do. But good point, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Linda. As you can see, it had traction. Next on board, Alex from CoinSchedule, presenting his ICO product. Put your hands together for the next 5 minutes. Oh yeah, that now starts to feel like a pitch.
Hello, everyone. Hi. So I'm Alex Buelau. I'm CEO and co-founder of CoinSchedule.com. CoinSchedule is one of the biggest and one of the first ICO listing sites in the world. And today I'm going to be talking about our Trust Score technology. Yeah. I wanted to start by telling a little story. I joined crypto as a miner back in 2013, which, in this industry is like saying, last century, basically, right? I even kind of had a picture here of me back in those days. And I was kind of mining Bitcoin and Litecoin from my shed using a GPU rig, right? But really, what people wanted to have back then is something like that bad boy there on the top left. So that's one of the first ASIC miners. And the thing back then was, if you had one of those, you would make a lot more money and mine a lot more Bitcoin than anyone else. So I saw this project called Globcoin in Bitcoin Talk, which was where everyone was back then, right? 500,000 people that knew about crypto. Does anyone know about this project? I was just curious. You do? All right. So I got very excited about it because they were doing the first and the best ASIC with a certain type of millimeters that was going to be much better at mining Bitcoins. They had a group of engineers from China working on that chip, and the CEO was always in Bitcoin Talk. So yeah, I got very excited. I invested. And then it turns out it was a scam. And I lost 20 Bitcoin. The guy ran away with everyone's money. And what they were doing was kind of what we call an ICO today, right? So they were taking crypto money, Bitcoin, for example, in exchange for tokens. And so that was my kind of first experience with ICOs. But at the same time, I think it's fair to say that we had a lot of very good projects, and I was lucky enough to be involved with many of them, sometimes even developing blockchain explorers and wallets and so on. So then the question was, okay, what's the difference? How can you tell, and what can you do to prevent people from falling into the same kind of scam into the future? So this is one thing that we look back and said, and now it's hindsight's 2020. There were lots of red flags with Globcoin. Well, first of all, there was no documentation. There was no way to talk to any of the team members. There was the CEO on Bitcoin Talks now and then. And most importantly, there was no verified team members in any of in any place you could find. So who knows if the project had really those engineers working from China. And so when we launched CoinSchedule back in 2016, we wanted to make sure that we came up with something to tackle that. And so this is what Trust Score is. We have been working with scientists from the University of Oxford, and we created this algorithm that uses AI, and it takes a lot of publicly available information about every ICO, but crucially also takes a lot of KYC data that we have access to because we allow the team members of every ICO to kind of verify themselves. We also check all the documentation behind every ICO for the company issuing the tokens. And we do video interviews with the management of the company. So we collate all of that into the score that goes from A to E, where A is the best and E is the worst. And we launched this back in early this year in 2018. I think it was in April. So looking at some of the data, and I kind of gathered this this week, we have more than half of the projects today scoring C or higher in CoinSchedule. We have almost 2,000 members that have been verified. So these are people that uploaded their, passport, a copy of their passport into our systems. They got verified by our partner. We found that on average, projects that rate A, so the best, they receive 3 times more attention than projects that rated E. And more importantly for me is we had 0 complaints about any project that scored C or higher. In addition, having TrustScore allowed us to work with some incredible partners. We have ongoing collaborations with Oxford and Harvard.
1 minute to go.
Yeah. The FCA used our data in their recent crypto asset report that was published a couple of weeks ago. And we recently announced a fund together with an asset management company from Paris and Switzerland called Trecento, where we're going to use the TrustScore system to identify which projects are worth investing. So all of that is just really the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of more exciting things happening in the company. We're also fundraising, like many people presenting here. So if you want to talk about that or anything else, just come and see me after the talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Concise and to the point. Do we have questions? Let's do it here and not over Slido for the questions. Do we have any hands raised? Yes, here, to the right, to the right.
Okay, yeah, so who specifically are the scientists at Oxford that you're working with? What are their names?
You want their names? I'll tell you after offline, okay? Yeah, so we're working with a group from Thomas Hellman, so he's a professor from Oxford, from Said Business School. We were based in Oxford, by the way. And there's a couple of students, 1 postdoc and 1 PhD student in his group.
Here.
Oh, sorry.
How would you have rated the project called Bitcoin by Satoshi Nakamoto?
How would I have rated Bitcoin?
How would you have rated? Because you do rating, right? How would you have rated the Bitcoin project made by Satoshi?
So one important thing to say is that we don't rate it. It's all based on information that's being volunteered. It's an algorithm that runs every hour, and it takes all the information that's available in our database, and it then ranks every project. It's impossible to manipulate, but at the same time, it has to be inputted by the team. So in the case of Bitcoin, if someone inputted that into our system, then it could be rated. But the way that we rank all the projects right now is that there needs to be a company behind it, there needs to be people behind it, a team, and so on. So if the project's anonymous, then it's going to be ranked low. But that also represents the risk around the project.
Okay, straight to the point. Thank you very much. Supported or consulted by the FCA. Next in line is Alon from Blocks.io, Digital Assets Made Better. That's my copy, not theirs.
Hi, everyone. Just before we start, I want to talk about the Bitcoin Cash hard fork, and I hope the organizers will give me an extra minute because it's really important. Anyone is holding Bitcoin Cash here? Cool. So tomorrow there's a possibility for a hard fork. Anyone knows what a hard fork is? Right, great. So be caution tomorrow when you're sending your Bitcoin Cashes or receiving them, because it means that might be some issues with it. Bitcoin Cash has 2 hard forks every year in its short time in existence. And one of those hard forks, which was timed, there's a competitor version of Bitcoin Cash, and those 2 are competing to basically determine who is the mainnet for Bitcoin Cash. So be aware, but that's one of the wonders of blockchain. So 1 minute for me extra, please. So my name is Alon. I'm the CEO of a company called Blocks. I've been in the industry for 6 years now. I'm a developer. I contributed code to Bitcoin, to Ethereum, and co-founded Blocks about 1.5 years ago. And I really want to kind of tell you guys how lucky we are, because every so often there comes a piece of technology which truly revolutionizes many industries. And there's very few lucky people who get a chance to be inside that revolution, and even fewer who get to actually power and kind of engage with that revolution. And I truly think we are the lucky few. And so obviously blockchain has the ability or potential to really transform a lot of the so many industries, supply chain, healthcare, but truly we're now focusing on finance. Blockchain is a great piece of technology which redefines kind of the basic building blocks of the financial world, basically redefines what a financial resource is. And a crypto asset or a cryptocurrency is basically a new kind of a resource. And as we know with resources, they need to be managed. They need to be managed efficiently and compliantly in order to convince governments, people, and companies to actually adopt it and build on top of it. And so this is how we manage resources in crypto. This great technology and a piece of spreadsheet. It's not great, right? And so we're in the midst of an incredible revolution, and this is the state of the art the industry has to offer. This is the tool we need in order to march ahead, manage billions of dollars, convince governments and industry leaders to adopt the technology and go with it. So it's not a great idea. And it's simply not enough. So can you imagine, managing an operation of $1 billion company using an Excel sheet, or maybe going to the regulator and asking a new license for your brand new crypto-driven product and telling them that, yeah, we'll be managing it all with an Excel sheet, or a financial institution deciding to expose themselves and their clients to crypto with an Excel sheet. That's not really good. And so if we want to change the world, we really need to have the right tools to do that. And so I would love to present to you today Blocks, which is an A to Z crypto asset management and tracking system. Basically gives the ability to individuals and organizations to truly interact with the technology, interpret and manage financial data driven and powered by crypto assets. And it's especially, I think, interesting for the FX industry. The first and most used product we have is Blocks for Finance, which does a few things. First of all, it enables you to keep track of all of your assets internally and externally automatically instead of just manually, which is a crucial point in order to stay compliant.
1 minute to go.
Create transparency and governance inside the organization, set standards for your data, and obviously stop using the Excel sheet. We enable you to connect your wallets, exchanges into one place, sync everything automatically every 5 minutes. We support natively more than 3,000 assets, so most likely your assets are supported on Blocks. Obviously, there's nothing worth doing not in teams, so Blocks was built from the ground up as a collaborative tool where people inside the organization and outside of it can be connected and work in the exact same platform. And one of the crucial things when we're talking about resources, and especially financial resources, is keeping sure that our books are intact, both for reporting, transparency inside the organization, but also outside taxation and compliance. And so we have great features which enable companies to manage and do bookkeeping with their crypto resources. And obviously it's all for creating the transparency and governance inside the organization. So those are the few pillars of our system. And we said it's an A to Z platform, so I want to mention two other modules. One is the Blocks back office, which enables the compliance department, the financial department, really have tools to manage crypto, and obviously Blocks for developers, powerful API for blockchains and exchanges. For developers, if you have an offering for crypto, that's definitely something you should check out. We have a bunch of partners and great clients managing a bunch of money on the platform and really let them focus.
I have a buzzer. Don't make me use it. Do we have any questions?
I gave great piece of advice before, so I'm kind of 10 more seconds.
Okay, we'll security will kill me, but okay.
Perfect. So great partners, great clients. eToro, one of the sponsors here, is a great client of ours and also our investor. And so if you have a product-powered company, new offerings as a crypto product, definitely get in touch with us, and thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the crowd? I have one question.
The Oxford guy from the back.
Yes.
Hi, how you doing?
Real quick.
So, how does Blocks make money?
Okay, that's a featured one, I see. Give it in a one-liner.
We don't really care about money. No, I'm just kidding. So obviously there's a subscription model. I haven't mentioned, but we are an ICO company. We did an ICO back in 2017. And so every company or individual we onboard, it's a premium product, so they pay a subscription. We have a model where you get a significant discount using the token, or if you are an individual or developer, you can actually stake your tokens, get the service, and hold the tokens. When you just want to sell them back to the market, you'll simply stop having the service. So
ICO
that's
and
how we make
fees. That's the
exactly.
Sorry, yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
guys.
guys.
More questions afterwards. And now, Graham will assume his place on the stage. Give a round of applause To Graham Redford from Archax, we go institutional. And the clock is ticking.
Hi everyone, I'm Graham. I'm spent the last 20 years in hedge funds and investment management. I'm now the co-founder and CEO of Archax. We're a digital asset exchange focused on institutions. Today I'd like to talk to you about three things: why we think institutions haven't yet been involved in digital assets, what we're doing to address it, and why we think security tokens are the future. During 2017, when the market was really taking off, we think institutions absolutely wanted to get involved, but the reason that they couldn't is just that the infrastructure and the counterparties weren't there to deal with. So for example, most of the exchanges were retail focused, lacked the regulation, the transparency and the controls that are necessary to run an institutional product. And as a result, the institutions didn't have anyone to deal with. For example, the exchanges would often commingle their assets with those of their clients, or if you were an investment manager running, say, money on behalf of several of your managed accounts, you couldn't place one trade and allocate it out. You'd probably have to run several accounts or commingle your clients' assets and place the trades together. Neither of those things are good for institutions, and they're exactly the sort of thing that we're looking to address. And when we started building Archax at the start of the year, people asked us, do we think that institutions are coming? Well, this year we've seen independent reports from Greenwich Associates and Thomson Reuters saying that they absolutely are coming. 20% of all the hedge fund launches this year are crypto hedge funds. We've seen Goldman Sachs take a stake in BitGo, the crypto custodian. ICE launched their BACS product, and Fidelity recently announced their custodian product as well. So clearly the infrastructure is developing and the institutions are coming. And when we talk about institutional, we're not just saying the types of clients that we're targeting. What we are saying is the full offering from the front to the back. So our company's governance, the regulation, the transparency, the jurisdiction, the controls, the processes, and of course the product. And it's the product we're going to concentrate on for now. When the market was really taking off last year, a lot of that was driven by utility tokens. And utility tokens promise you the right to or a discount of a product or service in the future. And because the underlying value is really hard to understand, it creates great volatility, and hard to value assets and volatility are two of the biggest problems for institutions. And what we're seeing now is a proliferation of security tokens. And security tokens differ in that they're backed by an asset or rights to revenue, profits, or even a share of a company. And as a result, they have something much more tangible underneath them, which is easier to value and, in theory at least, should lead to lower volatility. Also, the other advantage of security tokens isn't just the way that they're structured, but investment managers can express pretty much all of their existing investment theses through security tokens, and perhaps even some new ones as well, especially concerning illiquids. So, for example, we heard of the Andy Warhol painting where someone tokenized 49% of it. They are still able to have that Andy Warhol painting hanging in their room, but they've managed to release some liquidity on it. And people that maybe otherwise couldn't own a painting have now got ownership in a fractional way. Or if you're an investment manager and you were running a property portfolio, you probably could have always bought a REIT or some sort of market tracker. But now potentially you can buy a specific area or a specific region, or maybe even a property. You could be, say, long Greenwich, short Battersea. You can really express your investment thesis at a small level. And for any one of us, our biggest outgoing on a monthly basis is probably our mortgage. But what if the banks were no longer the only place we could release liquidity? What if we could go to the market and tokenize our own property, and people that wanted exposure to our region could buy our tokens? And if we needed more liquidity, we could issue more tokens. And if we needed less, we can buy them back. And we wouldn't be subject to capital ratios or LTV calculations, just demand for our product. So what does all this mean for Archax? So we believe in this so much that we're doing our own security token. We're issuing 20% of our equity on the blockchain. We're one of the first in the UK to do this later this year. We're launching a security token exchange next year focused on institutions. And we really think that security tokens will disrupt financial markets. And
1 minute.
When that wall of institutional money comes, we hope to be at the center of it. Thank you.
Okay. That was surprisingly short. Do we have questions? Do we have the featured one of how do you make money, or that clear? Perfect. Any other questions from the crowd? Here's one. Let's take for the gentleman in gray.
Hi. Will you plan to actually list other assets that are listed on other security token exchanges, for example in Malta? Will you dual list them or?
Yeah, it's a great question. So from a selfish perspective, I think we'd rather have security tokens purely listed on our venue. We can we much easily understand the products. We can control the access to those products much better. Having spoken to a few people that are creating their own security tokens, their aim is to get it listed as many places as possible to increase the liquidity, which is understandable. And what's key for us is that when we're working with any security token project, that they're working with one of our approved tokenizers. And the tokenizers, for those of you unaware, create the smart contract and maintain the integrity and the whitelist of those that can trade it. So assuming that the security token was from one of those pre-approved tokenizers, then we'd be quite willing to work with them.
Can you give me an example of one of the tokenizers?
Of a tokenizer, sure. So in London, there's a great company called Navora. They've been through the FCA sandbox. They're a technology company. They have the ability to create smart contracts, but also maintain the underlying administration layer to perform corporate actions and maintain the shareholder registry, as well as abiding by CSD regulations. There's another one called Tokeny that are very good.
One we will have to do with one. Afterwards, converse.
Sure,
again.
Tokeny in Luxembourg will do a similar thing.
And we have here another last question. Thank you.
You mentioned earlier that you're going to have your own STO. If that's the case, what's the underlying security behind the STO, and where is it listed or traded?
Sorry, what was the last bit? Where does it list?
Yeah, where does it list?
Sure. So in the UK, when you own shares in a company, you can only really hold them at Companies House by a real entity. It's not yet possible in the UK to hold them in token form. So the way that we're approaching that is we're creating a trust company at Companies House that owns 20% of our equity, and it holds the equity for and on behalf of the token holders. So tokens are really a Delta One security for a pure equity in our company. So the token holders will own exactly the same equity rights as the ordinary shareholders, and it will list on our exchange.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Last but not least, coming up to stage, Caspian or Tora, depends how you look at it, to showcase their product. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gerrit van Wingerden. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Caspian.
Hi, my name is Tattan. I'm head of European sales for Caspian. It's a great segue actually from Graham's talk. Caspian itself has a core goal of trying to help institutionalize the crypto market. The company itself was established around a year ago, and Gerrit and his team have been building a fabulous product which we think is going to move the crypto market much more towards the mainstream institutional business and push the more widespread adoption of the crypto currencies globally. So how are we doing it, and why should you care? Well, we've seen a lot today about the retail market is involved in crypto quite heavily, but the problem is that, as Graham referred to in his last slide, is that the big institutions just don't have the infrastructure or the technology to allow them to trade and manage the assets themselves. Caspian is coming to the rescue, or we've come to the rescue, through a few different ways. Caspian itself was actually formed from a company called Tora. Tora have been in the market building software for hedge funds for around 15 years. We primarily focus on the trading and the portfolio management side of things. So what we've done is, earlier this year, is basically establish Caspian with a pure focus on the crypto market. What have we built? And how have we done it? So we've basically leaned on our team at Tora. We have 250 people in the organization at the moment, and the vast majority of those guys are either developers or support teams. So we have I guess a template for how to build a trading and portfolio management software tech company.
I think it's worth mentioning the importance of support. A lot of people, when they're starting a company, focus just on building the product, and support is almost an afterthought. But if you're supporting a product for trading crypto, which trades 24/7, it's very important to have a support infrastructure that can support the product around the clock. We have a support desk in Tokyo, in Europe and in North America of about 30 people combined across all 3 continents, so we can provide the support 24/7 that you need when you're trading crypto.
Great. So on the screen you can see the 6 core aspects of the product. So the OEMS is the trading system. We have reporting, algo design, portfolio management system, a compliance and a risk module. All of them are now live in production. We have 20 funds using the platform. We're onboarding another 15, and we're speaking to 170 globally in each region. Beyond the actual core product, we realize that sitting within the crypto ecosystem is an important thing to get right. So you can see from the slide that we've done a huge amount of integrations across the board. We're now integrated with 30 of the crypto exchanges. We're speaking to some of the decentralized exchanges and beginning that process. We're also integrated with some of the largest OTC desks on the street, including B2C2 and OSL. As you can see again from the slide, we're also integrated with a number of the main custodians, Coinbase, and wallet providers. So Ledger is an example. So these are just some of the ones that we're speaking to. But the idea here is that if you're a fund and you need to get to the market, you have somebody to turn to, and this is why we're extremely busy at the moment. And so in the last couple of minutes, Gerrit's going to just run through a few of the technical decisions and hurdles we had to make over the last 2 years to make these connections.
Since it's about innovation, I thought I'd talk a little bit about some of the innovative things that we've done. As you can see, we have about 30 exchanges here. As many of you know, each exchange has their own API. Some of them aren't so good, others are okay. We've built a common interface across all exchanges. Also, each exchange has different symbology. Some exchanges might say Bitcoin is XBT. Others might say BTC. We've built, and there's also derivatives.
And 1 minute to go.
A common product master so that there's one common symbology across all exchanges that you can use. We also, management of API keys is also a concern for our clients. We've built a solution called an MSS, a message signing service, which allows them to hold on to their own API keys and host them in a service we provide to them. And our backend can call to the service, sign the API requests, and then make the request to the exchange. So we never have to take custody of our clients' API keys. We are also, integrating with decentralized exchanges. We have more volume on our system right now than all decentralized exchanges combined. We have some ideas on how we can drive liquidity to centralized exchanges by integrating with our algos, and so that's another area where we're doing some very innovative things.
Great, so just to finish off, a screenshot of one of the main areas of the product. This is the trading stream. On the left-hand side, you have the aggregated view of all the market prices and full depth on each of the exchanges we're connected to. On the left side, you have the plotter. This screen shows your balances right across all your exchanges on the various different exchanges that you're using, and including cold wallets.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have room for one killer question. Do we have a question from the audience, or may we greet all pitchers and continue? I'm genuinely pleased to see no questions at the moment. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.